Continuing the How to Defeat Misa series, where we analyze Misa's races with Fox to come up with strategies on how to compete against our front-running Fox with all the machines. But first I want to go over something else real quick to make sure we're all on the same page with what kind of races are being discussed. If you've noticed my live stream, you know how races are chosen. The 99 Pro Track races are filler races until the 959 GP lobby or the F-Zero Discord event lobby. So let's go into the F-Zero Discord to see what type of lobbies those are. So this is the F-Zero Discord. If you go into the events page, there's scheduled events for the whole week. So you can see here the Machine Mastery. I do the American version because that's I do the 8 p.m. Central Standard Time is when I do mine, and that's just fun because you can play all the same machine. It's kind of a fun gimmick to do. Then like every day they have something unique. So the ones I specifically join and where the hardest competitions are though. Friday night's a private lobby, and that's it's a pretty good lobby. You get a lot of players, and then Craft Cup's kind of the biggest one of the week. It's actually 3 of them here are actually public as a 959 lobby, and they're like instant fills. Like if you don't even click it within the first second, you might not get in the lobby. And then the 4th race GP is private, and that's really tough competition for the week. Then the Asian Open's a little later that day, and it's private, so you'll get less people, but there's actually it's kind of its own fun level of competition to that. If you've seen, I've posted a couple of videos with the Asian Pacific Open. There would be like 40 to 50 people, and it's like that mid-sized good lobby where there's a lot of really good racers. But it's not like overwhelming like the Galactic Grand Prix, so you're not gonna get like ranked out in Mute City, but you're still against a lot of good racers. So I really enjoyed joining those as well. So those are the kind of lobbies I joined during the week. So I think for people to understand like what I'm speaking about, what's going on in races, those are the races I'm in, and it's not it's specifically tailored to those event lobbies and 959 lobbies, whereas the 99 like lobbies in between those aren't really a good metric for how races are. So let's get into Mirror Queen League here, starting off with Mirror Mute City 2. Misa's kind of going out of his way to get that zipper. I mean, it's the best zipper because of its placement, but I'm not so sure about going that far of your way. You can see Lemon Sweet got in the head because he's had better back bumps and a better line there. And as we discussed in Mirror Mute City 1, that hairpin's where Misa cuts everyone off because he's best at it. So now he's in front running Fox, and it's going to be really difficult for anyone to catch him at this point. And first place on Mirror Mute City 2 has a good bumper pattern, so nothing's going to get in his way. And if you can see those bumpers, how those were between the zipper. If you show up a little late to that zipper, you might have to bail on that zipper because of those bumpers in their path. And you get to cut in front of those 2 reds and in between all those, so it's a real easy path if you're in first place. So that's how Misa does it with Fox. Let's see what his official last time is. So you're gonna have to deal with competing with foxes who are getting 154. Going into Mirror Meat City 2, I'm gonna highlight the zipper section to see how much time is lost there if you don't take that zipper properly. So a lot of the action in this course is after the jump pad. And that's where you can lose a lot of time. Let's see how much time I lose here. So you can see I'm at full speed now, but my speed got erased from going over the dirt. So with Fox especially, you lose the most speed over going over the dirt. And how the zipper acts is, once you hit the zipper, you get the highest zipper speed, and then it kind of goes lower. So you're getting your highest speeds erased. And I'm going to go over one more, the alternative path, going to the right of the zipper. So in some races, the zipper section is going to be just bombarded with other players and bumper pathing, so you might want to just avoid it. And let's see what happens if I go to the right of the zipper. So it's just a little slower, it's safer, and sometimes you're just going to have to do that during a race with any of the machines. So I mean, it's just the alternative route. Unfortunately, it's not as good as getting the full zipper, but you know, you don't always get the best possible path, and it's the safest way to play, and sometimes that's what you have to do during the race. Now going into how other machines will play Mirror Meat City 2, let's take a look at Kleimann playing Blue Falcon. So even though he's in the front now, he's actually going to have to collect a Skyway to compete. So let's see when he starts getting the sparks. Here comes the Goose Squad after their Skyways. And when you cut left there and use your Skyway, you could get the float over the first zipper. So that's kind of how you want to do it. So it's a well-played Falcon run. You can see he still lost to the Fox. But beating a Fox there is... I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone besides Fox get a 154. And it's not even... That Fox didn't even get a 154. You can see how difficult it is to compete with a Fox there. I'm going to go into some Skyway options here using Daizen's video. So this one, he started it into the pit, and you get a triple zipper. Especially, it'll be a little hard to get the first zipper if you time it wrong, but 3 zippers is a really good skyway in any place. That one with the intention of the 999 exit, which is always great. And the jump pad cut there is kind of just the standard one. You pretty much hope to get during the race. Using the speed bumps to get a faster launch into the skyway. Now that one's just ridiculous. He got to boost into the speed bumps, which gives you extra speed. So with that, how it works is kind of counterintuitive. It's the machine with the fastest acceleration technically gets the most off speed bumps, but has the least speed retention. So how it actually works is the speed retention's the better part. So Stingray gets the most from a row of them, and you can see there with a boost into those, you can reach the maximum speed and get the float. So if you can ever have that during the race with a Stingray, definitely go for it. So how you can see how this course plays out with the other machines with Blue Falcon, even though Kleimann had a really good start there, and it seemed like he could front run by the time the third lap comes around. You know, all the people are catching up with you because they've had skyways and now they've preserved more energy than you. So you're going to have to build up your skyway and hopefully get it a good spot. Because if you don't get it a good spot, it ends up kind of being a waste. Like you'll get one zipper on the skyway and don't cover much of the course on your skyway. You're not really going to gain much out of that. You're going to want to launch the skyway where Kleimann did. Or if you watch the skyway video with the Stingray, those are also good options, especially with Stingray. I mean, that works pretty well with all the machines, but just not to that extent. Now going into Mir Port Town 1. Let's check out Misa's video here. So we started in the back line, so it looks like some other foxes are actually in front now. So let's see if Misa can overcome this. And that's all it took. So Misa just took a better line. So now they're catching up with some boosts, because they had some differently timed boosts. But it's not going to really matter here. We'll see if Misa can do it again. Looks like that gray was enough to beat Lemon Sweet there. And now how Port Town works is Fox has a really good boost pattern for this course. So you can pretty much boost every angle. Even in version 1.3, you don't, I mean, he's wiggling in the refiller there just to get a tiny bit more energy, but Fox can pretty much play the same boost pattern as it would in the regular Port Town one. Now here comes the late game Goose and Stingray. So Misa actually had to bail there because that Goose was coming full force at him. That was the right move to make. So Goose, and if you get a good Skyways and you have enough boost, you haven't taken really damage, like Goose can still overcome fox here. And Misa didn't have a perfect race and kind of a slow start, so I would say Misa probably, if Misa got a clean opener front run, I think he would have been able to hold off any people coming from the back from the skyways. But how races work, you're not going to always have the first position, even with Fox. So sometimes you just have to give up a position. But I mean, he's still getting 196 points, and you have to overcome that. And so that's why Fox has to be overcome by more than just one player who happens to have a really good race. Like, multiple players have to bury the Fox for everyone to have the overall points at the end of the GP that erase that Fox from getting first place overall. So now let's take a look at this race again, but involving a new concept called off-pattern boosting. So let's see what happens here. Misa starts in the back. He gets cut off. So this is a bad start, at least for a Fox. And a lot of times if you're against other top Foxes, that's enough to lose the race already. So what's going to happen here? So you can see one Fox is way off to the right already. He's basically out of the race. And now Misa is going to take the best line and the first boost. You can see Lemon Sweet wasn't boosting there, and so Misa has the first boost and he's ahead. Now Lemon Sweet is going to catch up from the rear. And so why it's better to have the first boost there is because if you're in the front with Fox, if a lot of times when you're boosting behind the Fox, you just keep pushing him forward and giving him extra speed and you can't make the pass. So, but Mir Porton 1 here with the magnets, sometimes you just get pulled around, so you can make that pass. And what that Fox just did there, let's look at it one more time. Let's see what the Black Fox does. So you can see right there, he tried to make a play. So that's an off-pattern boost. He boosted to try to attack the Fox, which is a good strategy. You could try to reduce the energy, make him make a mistake. Sometimes you just like when someone spins attacks you for some reason, you go like flying across the map. So, it's a good play. But Misa has a boost at a different time, and now that Fox is going to fade into the back again just because of the boosts or different patterns. But that was a good play to make. And how the rest of this kind of worked out was Misa kind of got lucky that Lemon Sweet couldn't get past that gray there, so that was the end of the race right there for the Foxes. So at this point, the Foxes are already defeated. All it took is really one turn, the first turn in the race, and then there was a little battle afterwards with some different time boosting, which is we should do Fox versus Fox, and then you could do it with the other machines too. Like I had that video of like sitting on Fox on Big Blue. You just kept boosting to always be in line with him and always attacking him. So you could do that with other machines versus Fox. So that's just kind of what I wanted to highlight and how you can attack Fox versus Fox and how important lines are. And that's pretty much all it takes with Fox. Once you're in front, you have the advantage, and it's really difficult to pass a Fox in that way. Let's take a look to see how Goose will play Mir Porton 1. I'm going to use Nag as an example. So that's the extension you want to get over there. It's a little interesting because he launched it in a kind of a little peculiar place. Usually people jump further off the ramp to the left, but it worked out there. And now since this is a good lobby, so this is the private lobby, the Asia Pacific Open, you are able to get a second Skyway. So fourth lap, second Skyway is kind of the goal to get with the other machines.
Oh, 怖い。よかった。
So that's just a good race with a goose there, and you can see how he likes to use his Skyways. The second Skyway, he started off getting that zipper. So when you understand how these tracks work with the Skyways, you time them to get the pretty much the most zippers per Skyway and the extensions. So it's just smart use of like your position in the track and where to use the Skyways to make sure you don't miss extensions or just start it like right after the zipper and then you don't get any zippers in your Skyway. So that's a good example with Gusa how to play that, and that kind of applies to the other machines as well. And I was saying during the race, you could get 2 if you're in a good race because everyone's going to pass you again. But if you're in kind of like a 99 lobby where you're only going to get 1 Skyway, you kind of just have to plan around that and kind of base your boost off only preparing to get 1 Skyway. And just kind of discussing, one thing I can't really highlight here is bumper patterns, because your position, if not in first place, is going to be into a unique position with how the bumpers are going. So just if you could get a 4th lap Skyway, that'll clear you over a big chunk of, you know, wherever you're at to get over a lot of the hazards. The ending part's still difficult, even if you're in first. If you're not used to how to kind of pull away from those magnets and cut, it's still difficult. I think everyone's thrown the race being in first place, just because if you get the full squad of reds, and especially if a blue's mixed in, it's very difficult to even do that even if you're up there by yourself. So that's why Skyways are important, and just understanding how the magnet pulls work, kind of something you should practice. It seems like you to like be further away from it than you think you do, and you could pull away differently. So once you get used to it, you can kind of drive through it cleaner and sharper, but it's still a hazard. Now let's go into Mirror Red Canyon 1, and let's see what Misa does here. So the first lap's almost boosting to depletion. It's because that's just a time attack boost pattern. And if you look at the little mini map to the right there, you can see how further back all the rest of the dots are. And if you're in first place, you can always boost there to get ahead of the bumpers, so you don't even have to really have the hazard of bumpers crossing at the same time as you at the jump pad. So now he's finally getting challenged. But the gray bumper prevented it. So Misa gets the win. Let's see what the time is here. I mean, so you're pretty much always going to have to get a sub 140. And even then, you can see it kind of goes down the list. Even the top, 11 right there are all sub 140. So even further into the 130s. So, I mean, you can see here, it was possible to beat Misa. The Goose just kind of messed up the ending, and followed by, the other good geese there. They were just behind. So it's doable. That cut, Skyway cut, is really strong with the other machines. So let's take a look at that perspective to see what it'll look like if you're in a different machine. Can I use Daizen's video here? So if you're not using Fox, pretty much to keep up with the Fox, you're going to need a Skyway. You can see Misa was in view there, so he just, whatever happened to him, he started in the back line, so maybe he just didn't get the best start and kind of got mixed into the pack. And it's really tough to get out of that with Fox. So this is where the other machines catch up to the front runner. Now I can boost pretty much until the end. Even if some hazards got the way, he still got the well-timed Skyway and got the good fourth lap where he could boost pretty much the whole entire lap to win the race. Let's see what the total time here is. So it's pretty much kind of how the other lobby was. Those are the times you're going to need to get in front. And kind of just discussing the Skyway there, what can happen that could be a bad thing that could happen is his extension could have been just a little further to get that zipper at the refiller spot. But what happens if you're too far behind is you get the extension and it goes over to the left pathway, and then you kind of get stuck into going in the wrong direction. Now you have a tough turn to make out of there, and it's just not the good extension to get. It's kind of how like some other places work, like Silence and Firefield, where you just don't want to use your Skyway where you get carried over into different paths that are less optimal. So there's really not much to cover on this course. It's a pretty simplistic track. It's just basically, if you're Fox, if you get that front run, definitely go for it. And if you're the other machines, especially if you're in a lobby that has Sparks, like that's the spot to get your Skyway, but it's not going to always play out like that. If you're in really tough lobbies, sometimes you kind of just have to use your Skyways in less optimal spots, but like I said, you kind of just want to avoid that one spot where it goes off to the left pathway with the Skyway. Moving on to Mirror Whiteland 1. Let's see what Misa does here. Starting a little behind. And that quick, he's already in front. So that shouldn't have happened. Those players should have been able to hold him off and take better lines for him not to be able to pass that easy. And now Fox gets a double boost there where Falcon can't, so that's where he extends the lead. A little bit more stuck in the dirt than he should have been, because when you the boost spot he uses the boost should extend over the dirt, and then you cut over into the zipper. You can see he loses less speed on that lap than he did the previous lap. That's kind of a risky landing there to go that far ahead, because those bumpers are in the way of the landing. But there it is, you got to front run mirror white land 1. In a tough lobby too. Let's see what the time is. So 2 minutes. Now let's go into the other machines and see what can be done. Let's take a look at how Blue Falcon will play this course. So that'd be me playing as Blue Falcon. And this was in a GAT lobby on Friday night. So that opening is a faster opening than the one Misa did, so the times are going to be a little lower. Really close to the boundaries in that jump. So I actually won't be doing as laser boosts there to go over the dirt because I'm Blue Falcon, and I just have an easier time controlling it with that way. You'd lose a lot more speed with Fox. This feels a pretty clean run there, and I got the front run the whole time. Let's see what that total time is. So with that opener, it's hard to compare the two because times are a little bit different. But when you look at sub 2 times with that opener, and even in with the opener that Misa had, you could get sub 2 times as well. It's just this one you're gonna get the lowest times possible. So I mean, it's pretty much the same race with Falcon as a front run, and the way things play out with how mirror mode is, there's the extra zipper, so Goose can actually do the same since it on the original Whiteland one, Goose got deprived of boost because it can't boost twice per lap where it needed to, so you kind of get depleted on the last section. But now with that extra zipper, you can get away with not having those to get out of your sluggish turns with Goose, so it's better in that aspect. But obviously Fox still has extra boosts, and they could do that double boost at the end, which gets ahead of the other machines. And just for fun, let's look some skyways on this course. This would be Daizen's video again. So that jump one can be a little problematic because sometimes if you're not in the correct spot when you're in mid-air and execute a skyway, you'll get the one where it kind of like can't connect you to the skyway and you lose time. A little extension there, so that's nice. Now I'm going to go into this track real quick and let's see the difference between going off the zipper and squeezing between the wall and the bumper, or going off the zipper and going to the right off the jump pad. So my Ghost is going to go between the wall and the bumper. So not really much of a difference there, and you know, depending on whatever faults of my Ghost, which isn't perfected, and that you can see it really isn't much of a difference. So if you can go to the right and it's a safer play, you know, it's definitely the play to make because it's not like a significant difference there. So that pretty much covers Mirror Whiteland 1. You see how to front run it. I mean, obviously that's not going to be always the case, but if you're competing for the front run, that's what it's going to be. And the skyways, those are kind of the spots there highlighted by Daizen. Otherwise you get stuck in the mix, and then you get stuck in worse bumper patterns if you're not in first, and those could block whatever it is. It's going to block the zipper, it's going to block the jump pads, and you get a lot of chaotic stuff happens there. So the front run's definitely a lot easier. And if you ever that chance, even if it's not specifically in first place, just staying ahead of the pack is definitely an ideal place to be. Let's go into the last course, Mirror Whiteland 2. Let's see what Misa does here. So we got some sparks, and now it's kind of be collecting a little bit more along the way, which is a little bit easier to do on Mirror because you get those extra sparks right there. with people already using their skyways, he's just going to collect those sparks. Really good timing on the sparks, even boosted through the refiller because he's not going to need those boosts. You can see him and both Nag have the same strategy. And Fox doesn't really have the front run advantage on this course because he has to sit back for the Skyway, because otherwise you can't get these times without the Skyway. Let's see what those totals are. You can see in these high level lobbies, if you're not getting around these times, like pretty much these, it'll even go lower. I think 153 might have been the lowest I've ever seen. I'm not sure if that person KOs or whatnot, but you're generally always going to see times around these. So just getting sub 2 minutes is not going to get you even a top 10 there. Now let's watch the same race, but from Nag's point of view.
思ったより削られてる。危ね。パフェはさせたくない。4周目に貯めたかったな。4周目ならないかな。避けたい。だってもう吐けないじゃん。パフェ、ああ持ってんのかこいつ。なるほど、君も持ってんのか。勝った。よし、パフェ防げた。よっしゃ。よかったよかった。パフェはパーフェクト、1000点優勝することをパフェって言います。全部1位、5レース。
So there was, it's the same race where you saw the Goose played his Nag, beat out Misa there. So that's what it looks like when you're playing with Goose. It was, luckily I was able to dodge the sparks on the 3rd lap, and then the 4th lap you really don't even need energy since it's mostly just a Skyway. So I mean that's how it's done. Now let's take a look at how Stingray will play this course. So this will be Jdizzle playing as Stingray. So what we're obviously going to be focused on here is how he takes the double hairpin. So this is pretty tough with Stingray. Let's see how he does it. So that's really sharp. He's able to pull and not get stuck into the wall there. Let's just see it one more time. You see how he'll drop his speed going from the first turn on the hairpin, and the gas will be off, and then he'll resume again when exiting with a boost. And then you want to position your machine to be able to not boost into the wall when you're exiting there. So that's an extremely precise cuts there with Stingray, and that's one way of taking it. Now we'll see another way of taking it. So let's see how Daizen plays this course. See some of the blade sky way coming in there. But overall, I really like the strategy. I like the wall bounce actually more than the way Jdizzle was doing it. Except with the wall bounce, what you have to be concerned about is repeatedly bouncing into the wall, or what happens is you bounce into the wall, then you kind of start bouncing into the right wall instead of regripping and taking the cut with your boost. So there's some like kind of, I guess, control that's a bit different than you were used to. Maybe some Stingray players are used to wall bouncing control, but if you're new to the technique, it's definitely going to take some practice to get control of that wall bounce to straighten out your line. But yeah, those are the ways to play Stingray, and you can see there's kind of like the same times again as the crack cup we were watching earlier. So that's what you need to do to be able to win these kind of races. To kind of recap what we went over in the video here, let's start off of Near Mute City 2. So how do you beat a front-running fox? You generally won't unless they somehow defeat themselves. So it'll be a fox versus fox, or if they just somehow screw up, hit one of the reds, or a blue gets in their way. But otherwise, if a fox gets kind of sucked back into the pack, they'll have to resort to the same kind of mechanics as the rest of the players, and they'll have to bail themselves out with getting a skyway. In Mirror Port Town 1, a front-running fox is going to win in the lower lobbies with less sparks, just because the skyways won't be able to keep up with the front running and boost pattern, how they can boost pretty much all the corners. But if you're in a good lobby and you get skyways at a good time, you'll be able to catch up later. And if you damage a fox and the fox loses a boost on this course, now they're in a lot of trouble. Red Canyon 1. So this is a really easy course for Fox to play in front run. Basically, you're really dependent on kind of the collective of sparks and getting that good skyway, because otherwise you cannot out front run a Fox here. Near Whiteland 1. This is a really good Fox course, so if a Fox gets a clean front run, they're just going to win, because the skyways just aren't as strong as they need to be to beat a Fox here. Because the Foxes definitely, on the courses, they're going to get sub 1 just front running, and to kind of get well-timed skyways and all that stuff in this course is pretty much unlikely to catch a clean front running Fox. So the only way to probably prevent that is preventing it in the beginning, because once they start getting that at the end of the lap and do that double boost before the end of the first lap, that's where they make the ground on the rest of the people that can't do that, you know, such as the Falcon and the Goose. And Stingray is kind of a different game, so they'll have to come from even further behind, and the catch up is just really difficult, especially since now this course has the extra zipper that Whiteland 1 didn't. It just benefits Fox. And Mirror Whiteland 2, if you can see the 3 videos we saw play it, and we didn't see a Falcon 1, but they played the same way. And it's just, Misa just played extremely well there, taking some risky boosts up into the hairpin and such. So that's a lot with just Misa's skill as Fox. Fox is not particularly strong because he has to play in the pack. So if you're really good with Fox, it'll play, you know, just like how as you would with Falcon and Goose, but you'd rather be Goose when you have to take all that stuff and get banged around with all the hazards in this course and hairpin. And Stingray, of course, takes this a lot of skill to do the double hairpin correctly. Whatever method you're doing is just a high skill maneuver. And just some general commentary on Fox in version 1.3. Since the nerf, you'll notice there are fewer Foxes out there. It takes a higher level of skill to succeed and survive. So Foxes like Misa and some others are still able to play at a top level with Fox, but the other Foxes that just aren't at that level aren't able to just non-stop boost and win races, so they won't survive as much. And maybe they've even switched machines at that point just for survivability. And where Goose is excellent in mirror mode, because all these tracks now with extra zippers and jump pads and stuff, you can get away with boost patterns that you wouldn't in the regular GPs with Goose, where Goose would get depleted with 2 boosts per lap. So now Goose has an advantage. It seems to be the go-to machine. I've seen the Galactic Grand Prix 3. It was pretty much, I don't know if it was over 50%, but kind of around that mark with Goose, and it's just a much easier machine to use overall. You don't get knocked back and all that stuff. So while Fox still has the front run advantage, and it's possible to do all that stuff, you really have to work on your time attack front running skills and be sharp with your cornering. As you can see on the Mirror Porton 1 here, just even the first turn was enough for Misa to kind of just cut the Foxes off and never see them again. And so that's pretty much how Fox plays Fox. You just have to have very precise lines, and to be able to do that takes a high level of skill, because you're making dangerous cuts at that point. And if you lose too much energy in a race with Fox and lose a boost, the race is over for you. So you might be either get stuck in the pack, or just you're out for the whole GP. And the big importance with Fox, of course, is the opener. Sometimes it's enough to determine the race before it even starts. So that's one thing that kind of bothered me when I was playing as a Fox main, is if you just get like a bad start, especially like in Big Blue, that was a major problem. I'd always just bail out and go into the pack, because you would get stuck in a bad position with bad bumper patterns, and you couldn't ever pass the Fox that got a better start. So there's some things like that with Fox where it could go either way. You could have just the front run start that kind of gives you the automatic first place, or like you could just kind of get a poor start where now you're gonna have to shuffle yourself back in the pack and play with the other machines and try to skyway your out of the win situation, which it can be useful. Sometimes it's intentional. Now with the nerf Fox, sometimes you're gonna have to do that, but yeah, with the opener and Fox, that's why I always make note of the positions and what it's going to have to do to get out of it. And sometimes you just get batting starting positions, such as Deathwind. If you're on the opposite side of which way the wind is blowing, you're not going to start in first place. It's less of an issue actually on Mirror Deathwind 1 because you're going to want a Skyway to start. But on the original Deathwind 1, it was a big deal. Even Deathwind 2, like you're just... a clean front run there with Fox is very important. And now, at least they have to deal with Falcon being able to get the times of sub 204 now, and Deathwind 2 with the zip, since Falcon has a zipper buff. So things are, really interesting now. The game is more balanced than ever. I'd say for mirror mode, though, Goose is the machine to use. It's the easiest, and now Goose, with the way it can do with all the zippers and jump pads, it's not going to go into the depletion with its 2 boost patterns. So there's just a whole new different way to play the game on mirror mode. So it's really interesting, and I'm hoping the next updates will have more interesting courses and maybe some buffs to Stingray, of course.